What's up? This is Mark from Suicide Silence, and you are listening to or watching Interview Under Fire.
All right, Mark, thanks so much for joining our podcast today. With me today is Corey Hodges. Mark Heylmun here today on IUF. The last 2 months have been a roller coaster, for you guys especially, and for all of us. How are you? How are things, with you guys and your band as of late? How's the lockdown life been in California?
Man, I'm one of the weirdos where I'm just like, you know what, dude? It doesn't even bother me. Like, I'll stay home all day, play guitar, do whatever. So I've been making the best of it. At first, it was like, what the fuck am I going to do? It was kind of weird. But then, within a couple weeks, I'm like, I'll give Skype guitar lessons. Sure, I'll start a Patreon. Sure, I'll start live streaming. All right, it's like one thing after another. Now I'm like, I've got like a whole fucking schedule of shit I'm doing. We're doing a virtual world tour. We got all kinds of shit. So like, everybody in the band is good. I'm good. Obviously, it's fucking silly, but we're hanging in there. We turn fucking lemons to fucking vodka and lemonade.
Yeah,
I
of course.
Let my dog out already, dude. This is what we're at home.
No, you're good. We got your dog on the background here.
He's always gonna be there, but he's just constantly like, hey, dude, let me out. Hey, dude, let's play. Hey,
what's his name?
His name's Butters. Look at that's Butters.
Hey, Butters.
Butters, dude.
So
Butters.
Being stuck at home, I want to talk about the live streaming in just a second because I know you also do a Cameo. And
that too.
It's funny you're mentioning how like what the fuck are we gonna do? And here we are, because usually we do these interactions in person, and it's just a whole different atmosphere and experience within itself. And now we're doing a podcast, But on top of that, being stuck at home like we all are, how are you keeping up your guitar chops? Do you live in a place where you can just crank up and play?
Dude, yeah, I live out in the middle of nowhere. I literally live in the middle of the desert. Well, and there's really no one around. I'm like looking at my rig right now. I have like my guitar cabinet in my closet, mic'd up, fucking cranking. Yeah, I have my backdrop on so you can't see what's going on. But like, yeah, I have a full, like, I like live in a studio. Like, it's just like, there's just fucking gear around me. There's like 7 guitars right here. Like, yeah, I play guitar way too much, and it doesn't bother me. Yeah, it doesn't bother me, man. Like, I'm actually glad people can't call me and try to get me to leave my house. Like, let me just stay home and practice.
So I know ESP Guitars is a special part of you that you partnered up with. I don't know when it was. I saw in one of your interviews you have a bone nut in. Is it one guitar, or is it just all of your guitars you have it in now? It's actual bone. Is that true?
So let's see if I can. This is a bone nut right here.
Okay.
Yeah, no, not all of them. If you use a Floyd Rose, you got to use the locking nut. So it's a metal nut if it's a Floyd Rose. And I'm all about the whammy bar, dude. You need the fucking dive bombs for fucking life. So if you use the Floyd Rose, which is like the whammy bar system, you can't have the bone nut. But I'm a fan of bone nuts. Like old Strats got them, and yeah, it's good. Either that or you just go graphite, and graphite's boring. What the fuck is graphite?
Yeah, I got to go with the real bone, man. You guys are death metal. You got to make it look the way you present, and I think that's just a perfect compliment to what you guys do.
Totally. I have a human middle finger, a bone. Here, let's see if I can grab it right now.
Awesome.
Let's see if this is a human middle finger on a spring on a little platform.
Dude,
that's some real bone right there, dude. Doesn't get much more death metal than that.
Can you ask where you got it?
I got it from my friend Jeremy Schott, who owns this art gallery called the Dark Art Emporium in Long Beach. He used to be our videographer.
Nice.
He gave that to me for my 30th birthday. He's like, here, man, fuck you.
That's a good way to welcome you in the new decade, huh?
Yeah, it was fucking great. I love it. It sits right in front of me next to fucking my Baphomet and Dimebag.
What's your favorite model to play?
My favorite guitar? Well, my customs destroy everything. Like I have like my camouflage V's, which is like pretty much what you're probably used to seeing me by now. Like those are just customs. Like, well, there's a difference between custom and signature. Custom means it's built for me. Signature means it's built and sold in stores and shit. my customs that I like have specced out, like I fucking love those guitars so much. Like they're the sickest things I've ever had. But I mean, the one you're talking about where I talk about the bone nut, this one, I know this looks all fucking wild. Whoa,
it's amazing because you got Butters and then you like just going back and forth.
I'm so used to Zoom meetings right now. I do these things way too often.
Did you know Zoom was a thing before all this started?
Yeah, I'd done a couple of little podcast thingies for them. So, but yeah, the NT7, the ESP NT7, I recorded so many and wrote so many Suicide Silence on this guitar, and I still play it a lot because it's easier to sit and play than a Flying V in my lap. But
nice.
Yeah. I mean, and it's got that bone nut, son. It's fucking death metal as shit.
Is that, or it's a deal breaker? You know, I tuned into your podcast with Ken Susie from Unearthed a few days ago, I believe, less than a week ago. And there was a guitar that you were talking about that hasn't even seen the light of day yet because you kept it. You were going to take it on tour with you, I believe, on this current tour. Yeah. You know, are you at least playing with that? At least just just.
Oh yeah, yeah. I play with that one all the time, and that's like, I mean, if we're talking guitars, like. This is the thing, everybody, they talk about wood and like, oh, you know, what's your guitar made of and what this or that. Like, I have two guitars that are the exact same wood. They're the same build. They're the same everything, but they have two different finishes. And one of them is like this bright metallic, super awesome. It's the main camo guitar that I play. Yeah. And then I have this other one, the one you're talking about. It's just a different finish. It's a darker camo, and it's got a flower of life kind of like imprint over the top of it. They're the same guitars, just different finish. That one sounds so dark and like bold and so much different, but they're the exact same guitar. So whenever, like, I'm on that fucking tone wood debate for life, where it's just like, it doesn't matter what fucking wood your guitar is. It's just like, I feel like it's pickups and speakers. Like, what are you playing? You know, like that's gonna make your shit sound dope.
Do you have a Fishman in your gear as well?
Yeah, I use the Fishman, the Modern Influences. I still got some EMGs in my guitars, you know, like I endorse, I'm an open book, dude. It doesn't fucking matter. Like I endorse Fishman. I still got some EMGs, but Fishman are just like, they're so clear and so good. And like, I'll be the first to say that like EMGs are a one-trick pony. Like I love them still. They're badass. Like if you want to just fucking thrash around and play some sick shit, like they definitely fucking do the job. But Fishmans have some like crazy dynamics that EMGs don't have.
Man, I didn't even know anything about that. That's some good information.
I don't even know what I just said, dude.
No. Hey, you go buy the gear that you play, and I think it's important that you let the audience know like what you favor, because I mean, you guys are, you know, it's a household name now, Suicide Silence. So just to have that as a, you know, as like a compliment, you know, a lot of people will pick up on that. You know, shout out to all the gear that you just mentioned. Like, that's great. Sure.
It's so fun. I laughed at that because that's an inside joke. We say, oh, that's a household name. That's a household name. Oh yeah, fucking go.
It's not a grin on your face. I was like, okay.
That's a fucking inside, you know, that's a household name. Disturbed, of course, dude. It's a household name.
Corn is a household name. We'll get to that in a second.
An asshole name?
Oh,
I heard you.
We can leave it at that. We can just leave it at that. So now that you're home, does this pandemic open up new things for you personally and artistically that you may have not noticed before about yourself? Because you talked about the live streaming that you do now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not really a big fan of. I was straight up. I'm not really that big of a fan of like social media. You know, like I do it, and I realize it's a necessity. But I feel like since the pandemic, it's just like, all right, that necessity that I kind of just like I handle and I do, like now I see it's just like, dude, this is like how I have to stay in touch with everybody. I can't go play a show. I can't go on tour. You know, I'm still doing podcasts or interviews here and there, but it's like still like I gotta get on the social media and I gotta do streams. I gotta figure out how to be like a host, like you guys. Much respect to you guys for even diving in and being hosts to something. Because now I'm doing these fucking live streams and I'm having a blast. I've done them now, like through my Patreon. But when I first started, I'm like, shit, dude, like I got to write what I'm going to say. I got to think about what I'm going to do and like make sure I'm flowing it along. And then like, you know, once you get going on it, you're like, oh, this is actually pretty fucking fun. This is cool. You know, you're interacting with people. You know, I've got this whole setup where it's like I'm streaming. I got the YouTube thing up here with all the chat, and like I can hang out with everybody that's on it. It's actually really fun. So it's totally different. So that's the new creative thing now that I'm like, oh, I'm a fucking streamer, dude.
Yeah, it's interesting because, you know, you talked about how social media isn't your thing. Now this is your life now. Like I mean, what can you do? You know, you talked about Skype, you talked about Patreon, and you also do cameos as well.
I love Cameo. It's so much fun.
So I don't know where I heard this. There's a story on Cameo. Like it came from you. You helped somebody. I think you already know where I'm going with this. You helped someone get a blowjob on Cameo.
I mean, I hope they did. True? I don't know. I never got. I mean,
how was that? Just how was that experience? Just you know, coming from you. I want to know about that.
I never got a review back. I never heard if it worked or not. All it was just like, hey, bro, can you tell my girlfriend to give me a blowjob? So I was like, fuck yeah, like, of course I will. And yeah, that's the funny thing about Cameo, though, is they can pretty much tell you to say whatever they want, and it's up to you if you do it or not. You can decline it, and they don't really know if you do. I haven't declined any. I've just done them all. Some of them are fucking weird, but I mean, it's super fun.
Man, talk about engaging with the fans. That's one way to do it. Gosh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I also I joined on and got onto Cameo right when this all started, and I was already feeling like I don't want to be like wartime profiteering kind of shit. I'm like, I don't want to be like advertising too much and trying to get people to spend money. So I immediately started to look around for a charity that I could just give all that Cameo money to. And I found a girl locally that she was ordering masks, N95 masks from China, and finding local dealers and getting like lower costs. Cause I mean, not to get too serious, but these fucking hospitals, they're getting gouged on prices because the government's not supplying the masks. So they're spending like $11 or $12 on a mask that should be like $7, you know? And so I ended up donating all my money to this like small charity. It's just like a local thing, but I mean,
what's the name?
Well, it's not. It doesn't have a name. It's this girl. Her name's Jess, and she was just doing it. I saw it through Sonny Mayo, who's used to be in Snot. Amen. He's works for recovery.
That throws me way back.
Snot. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but
that's
I just saw that. I was like, all right, I'm gonna jump in on this and try and help it out. And then like Randy Blythe did for Lamb of God, a bunch of people started to help her out. So she's still doing it. I mean, I can send you after this. I'll send you her Instagram.
We would love to. That'd be great because you're making the best of this lockdown, and we're trying to do that too. You know, helping is important. I mean, I have family in Italy who actually had the virus, and they're still going through it. You know, and I just think it's a great gesture on your part and setting an example for people like us, like Randy Blythe. You know, I mean, that's another legend who actually even just got onto what you were talking about.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, it's the least I could do, really. It's just like utilize. The way I look at it is like social media. It is what it is. I can utilize the platform that I have to try and do some sort of good, just while this is all going on. So
now, before my next question, Corey, let me know if you want to chime in with a question. Now, with the live streaming here that we just mentioned, a lot of bands are doing this thing where, I believe Code Orange was one of the first one to do it. They actually did the whole live streaming in empty venue. Did you see this? And then they broadcasted it for the fans.
It looked so sick.
And I actually interviewed Insomnium, another band who actually did the same thing a couple of weeks ago. And they were talking about their experiences for doing it, and they want to do it again. It's a learning experience for them. So do you think, as an artist, the quarantine-induced live streaming surge is going to affect the touring musician business going forward? Do you still see bands doing this even after all this?
Well, I'm a pretty proactive dude in all this shit. I talk to everybody about what's happening and what has happened before this and what could happen. And there's a lot of bands already that were live streaming their shows on tour for free and like doing things like this where they're creating a YouTube base where it's like, you can watch our show for free. I'm talking about Trivium. Like Trivium's been live streaming every concert they've done for like 2 years or something like this.
Yeah.
I feel like, it might not, I think it's going to change things, but I feel like there's going to be more of like a corporate influence on how you can go and buy a ticket to a concert for, however much it would be. But if you didn't want to buy that ticket, you could just buy the stream. And someone's going to try to figure out how to every venue in the fucking world has a live stream set up and it's ran by so and so, you know, and I mean, there's so many possibilities. It's like I could see a concert, like a show contract having like, are you going to be profiting from your own live stream from this? Like, if so, we want so and so percent. You know, I don't know. I feel like there's so much potential that this could go in a weird way. But bottom line, the live concert and people that want to go see a show, I mean, if anything, the live streaming will probably encourage people to go to more concerts, because it's like, yeah, you can go watch fucking 20 live streams, but now you've seen what it looks like and you're like, oh, I want to go to that show now. Like, I want to see them the next time they come through. So like, I think if anything, I mean, maybe I'm being too positive. I think it'll help. I think it will help everything. In all reality, you're just putting more stuff out there for people, and just like the internet and social media and everything, people live on the internet. They look at stuff. So if there's more information on how it's going to be when they go see it, it's probably going to influence them to actually go.
Another thing that people are doing is, it's doing the whole putting out new music. And I spoke to Corey from Trivium a couple of weeks ago too, actually, and they talked about how sticking to the schedule was important for them, because a lot of bands, I mean, Lamb of God, another one, they are moving their album release back. And I think it's next week or the week before they're releasing it. Enslaved did the same thing. But Corey told me, it was important to stick to the schedule, and you guys just released a new song. Was that something that was planned? It was a B-side, Overlord. Is that something that was just planned? And did you want to do this basically, or like how did that come about?
I mean, we're just, kind of in the same boat as a lot of other bands. When all this stuff started happening, we're just like, all right, well, we can't tour. We want to engage with our fans. We want to give people anything that's going to, one, remind them that we exist, and two, keep them entertained while all this stuff is going on. And we have another B-side too. We're just like, all right, well, let's get those B-sides out, because people probably want to hear new music. We just dropped a new record, can't tour on it. Like, let's get as much stuff as we possibly can out to our fans. And it's a shitty thing to say, but it's the truth. Everyone's at home and needs entertainment, so let's try and while everyone's there paying attention, let's get everybody as much as they can get, or as much as as we can give them.
And I want to talk about Become the Hunter. You talked about it being a return to form. That's actually my favorite Suicide Silence record now, and it's only been just a few months. And you talked about this album being for the fans, because last record was an exploration. I mean, how did you feel about the last record going to this new record? Do you think it was that big of a difference?
Well, I mean, me personally, I feel like the last record, as much as it was a big departure from things that maybe you would expect from us, like for us, we kind of didn't feel like we were going too far out there, vocally. Obviously, that's a big difference. No clean vocals have ever happened. So like, that's the big thing that, that people latch onto right away. But, I mean, it's still a really fucking heavy record. And like in any way you can cut it, it's like, it's still a very heavy record.
It's still Suicide Silence.
It's not like some fucking radio record, So, and then that's the other thing with us, like, working on it. It's like, we didn't want to do some big radio production, like, I don't even want to say certain bands, but like, if you're really going to listen to like active rock radio, Octane, fucking, Sirius. Yeah. We didn't go with that big production kind of thing. We're like, let's make it sound fucking grungy and fucking pissed and dirty. But, going there and doing all that stuff and experimenting, fuck yeah, it just reminded us where it's like, dude, we know what the fuck we're good at. We know what we really like, what we can thrive in. And if we're going to what we know we're good at and what we know people like from us, like, become the fucking hunter kind of wrote itself, it really did. Like, we just went in and slammed it out.
Did you still smoke weed and drink iced coffee like you usually do?
I eat more weed than I smoke nowadays.
Edibles. That's the way to go. I mean, nowadays, I'm getting old, dude. I can't do that shit anymore. And edibles is the way to go. It's easier. I don't know. That's just me.
And my lungs can't hack it anymore. I don't smoke cigarettes anymore, and I very rarely smoke weed. I pretty much do edibles.
That's awesome. All right, at least we're on the same boat there. What we're talking about, the change of sound, I guess, and returning to form, one thing that's been the constant with Suicide Silence over the years is your fans. And I'm sure you've seen that, hundreds, thousands of fans just change year in and year out. You guys have such a broad fan base. And Corey, I know Corey has a question for you about a certain festival that you were at. I'll go ahead and let him take over for now.
Is it South by So What?
No. It's the Gathering of the Juggalos.
Hell yeah, dude. What about it?
I mean, how did that go about? I know the Gathering of the Juggalos, they do host a bunch of metal bands. I went to Gathering of the Juggalos a couple years back. I've been twice. Years back.
This is like a Juggalo podcast right now. This is like family reuniting right now.
So our original publicist was fagolovers.net. So we're actually really close with Scotty D, who runs that, and he's really close with Psychopathic Records and Magic Ninja Entertainment and stuff. So we dip our toes in it a little bit here and there,
maybe ankle deep, maybe a little more than toes. Just like
yeah. We just jump in the pool. That's what it is. And but I've been there a couple times, and I've seen Guar there. I've seen the Browning. Who else? There was a couple. There was several. Matter of fact, several metal bands. But did you guys perform there?
Yeah, so like the whole story on that is we were on Mayhem, I think it was 2015, and Cannibal Corpse had an off-date show that they were playing The Gathering. And
That's crazy.
And we, we're super, like, they're like our fucking, I don't even want to call them our dads. I don't know what to call them. They're like our stepdads of fucking metal, like they just like came in and commandeered us as lords. And when we found out they were doing that, we're like, can you hit them up and see if we can like bring our bus and come as guests? And they were fucking, of course, you hit up the fucking Juggalos and they're like, oh yeah, you want to bring a fucking band to the show and park a bus? Fucking, we got parking for them. We'll fucking give them a backstage room, all this shit. We like rolled up to The Gathering without even playing it, as if we were playing it, and got treated great. And it was just so sick. And we met like all kinds of people. And once we were there, we just kind of like, the seed was planted. We're like, if ever you guys want us to play, just hit us up. And like, so next Gathering, 2016, I believe it was, we got the offer. And we flew in. We weren't even on tour. They were just like, yeah, we made time. We actually flew to The Gathering, played The Gathering, and then flew to South America and started a tour. That's what we actually did. But yeah, it's the thing is people can like bash and say whatever they want about Juggalos or about The Gathering, but the real thing is like, I feel like people get into some sort of counterculture, punk rock, heavy metal, any kind of subcategory of music, and it's because they're looking for somewhere that they can belong. And like The Gathering and the fucking Juggalos, man, do they make you feel like you belong? So it's like it's such a good vibe. Like it's so cool. So I back them 100%.
The Juggalos, they I don't know why they just get a bad rep, but they're actually the most loyal people I've ever met. Just my opinion, but I did some hip hop. I was in a group called Suave Swag, and we did some metal influenced hip hop, and we were supported heavily by the Juggalos. So we love them. We love them. Matter of fact, we do have we have Lex the Hex Master in class on one of our podcasts. So, and we do plan on my ultimate dream is to get Twisted. That's so when I started IUF doing the hot wing stuff and everything, my ultimate goal was just to get Twisted, So one day we will get Twisted. We know George, he's the manager and stuff. So That's
I'm
fine.
sure it'll happen, dude. Hit him up right now. Everybody's at home.
Well, matter of fact, I did this morning, right?
Yeah,
Right, Sonny? I did this morning. He
It's
mentioned.
funny. That's your lifelong goal. Like once you
Yeah.
accomplish that, like what are you gonna do after that? Like how are you? What's the next goal? I know.
No, I'm just gonna hand it to Sonny. I'm gonna hand it to Sonny, and I'm just gonna quit my job.
Just do a shout out to the Juggalos right now, man. That's
No,
because
I mean,
it
so
shows how loyal their fan base is. And
so if you don't know who Scotty D is, he runs the Fago Lovers site. So that's the biggest coverage site of Juggalo community or whatever. But
Gotcha.
We owe that dude a lot.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm sure Sonny will agree because he kind of put his foot in the door for us on a lot of stuff, and it opens so much doors for us, and that's how we got really how we got started into doing a lot of the bigger interviews. Like we started with Devil Driver and Ginger
was there
so
too. Yeah.
Nice.
and it really was because of Scotty D. You know?
Scotty D, dude,
Scotty
fucking
D.
legend over there, man.
Yeah.
Fago lovers. Whoop,
Yeah.
whoop.
Yeah,
So,
I just love the different kinds of fans that you guys have. Just like in any fan base group, you'll see a Suicide Silence fan there. Just shows how big of an impact you guys have put on the community, and it just stretches out across the globe. Honestly,
I mean, I'll just say it. I mean, I feel like with us, we don't really try to subscribe to any certain real like clique or scene, really. You know, we were associated with many scenes growing up, and like literally growing up because we were young when we started this. But it's like, put us in front of a crowd and we're going to gain some fans because we just want everybody to have a good time. Like, that's it.
How is the crowd, the difference between the Gathering of the Juggalos versus, just your normal tour?
Well, normal tours don't like throw shit at you in appreciation.
Right.
So that would probably be the first one.
So, Sonny, I don't know if you know this, but when you're up on stage at the Gathering of the Juggalos, you are going to get tons of Fago bottles thrown at you, not because you're getting booed, but it's out of love.
So it was at there was a show earlier, actually late last year, where we went to. I think it was, who was headlining? It was ICP, wasn't it? They were headlining.
Which one? Oh yeah, the one that Yeah.
It was at a very small venue, and it was just packed. I'm like, how are they going to do this show? And, that's just the way it goes. It doesn't matter if it's in a house. It could be in this room, and you'll just get a bunch of people packed in, and ICP could just play a show here. Or just that was hectic. That was very hectic because it was at the Rail Club, and the Rail Club's a pretty nice size, but not for ICP. ICP needs a bigger venue. Definitely.
I watched Yellow Wolf at the first gathering that I went to, and I was watching Yellow Wolf, and I was stoked to see him. I'd never seen him before, and I knew it was going to be good just because he'd been, hyped up for so long. And then it was just him and a DJ, and the sun went down. They're playing, and then they start shooting fireworks at the stage while he's playing, fucking bottle rockets and shit.
Yeah.
And you watch Yellow Wolf, and he's pumped. He's jumping up and down. He's super stoked. And you look back at his DJ, and like he can't move. He can't dodge these bottle rockets. And you look at his face, he's just fucking pissed. And we're like, oh, he's not having a good time. But it was still so fucking cool.
Man, the first year I went was 2009. Ice Cube was there. And they were shooting bottle rockets at him. I was like, oh, my gosh, he's going to kill someone. That's what he's about to do.
Man.
He was –
really.
But, it's so weird. It's all out of love. MC Chris, I don't know if you know MC Chris, but he was there. And he was like, I've been practicing my ninja moves, dodging all the Fago bottles.
Yeah.
Fun stuff. I would love to play the Gathering of the Juggalos.
I would love to do it again. I mean, yeah, we had such a good time. I mean, that's also like, dude, I've also gone to Burning Man, and,
nice.
and the only thing that I could compare the Gathering to is Burning Man. And like Burning Man is
very
like,
interesting. That's probably the most interesting comparison I've ever heard, honestly.
Check it out, dude. I'm a member of a camp at Burning Man. Like I've got like the Ego Trip is my camp. Look them up. They're well established. But the only difference between the Gathering and Burning Man is the Gathering doesn't have a leave no trace rule. So leave no trace meaning The Gathering just makes a giant mess and someone goes and cleans it up.
Right.
Burning Man goes and parties and you can't tell that it happened. It's literally the only difference. That's all fucking, you don't pay for shit at the Gathering. Like everything is free. Like you get free food, you can get free booze, you get free drugs, all this stuff. People are just giving shit away.
Yeah.
Same thing with Burning Man. There's no money. It's non-commoditism. So you're not even allowed to buy shit at Burning Man, but ice and coffee. And like
that's my language right there.
Yeah, right. I know. Yeah, if you at Burning Man, if you need ice, you can go to the village, you can buy ice, or you can get coffee. That's it. There's nothing else for sale, and it's a barter system or trade, or it's a gift system. And like I felt that same thing at the Gathering. It's just like you could walk by and someone's barbecuing. You're like, oh, what are you making? It's like, oh, I got free hot dogs. Oh, well, I'm vegetarian. Oh, well, you want a veggie dog? I got a veggie dog too. It's like, what the fuck? All right, let's fucking hang out.
Yeah. Wolfpack saved my life the first year I went, because we planned on going, me and a couple friends, and our boss, because we all worked together, he knew about it, and we were going to get paid a little bit early so we could take a paycheck there. Well, he bailed on us and didn't pay us for whatever reason. So we went there with nothing. We had enough money for gas, and we brought a couple sandwiches, right? Like, and spent the rest on booze because that's more important. So, but we get there and we're all out of food and stuff. So I was hungry, and Wolfpack was throwing out blunt wraps, right? And I just gathered a whole bunch of them. I remember there were peanut butter and jelly blunt wraps. It was weird, but anyways, so I filled up my bag with them, and I was trading people for hot dogs. I'm sure they would have gave me, one for free, but I was trading them. And I don't smoke, I'm pretty straight edge, I gave up everything a long time ago, but at the Gathering, that was a different story. 2009, I stayed high because I gave them the blunt wrap. They gave me a hot dog. They said, well, hey, man, come smoke with us. And I didn't want to be rude, right? So I sat in the circle, and then they passed it around. I smoked, and then I got hungry more. So I was trading more people some blunt wraps for food, and I'd smoke with them.
100%.
So, kept going. So that's my experience.
That sounds like that makes me think about how I am on tour, where it's like, well, I'm at home and normally I'm not really partying that hard. I go on tour and it's like, well, yeah, you guys are drinking. Oh, yeah, you guys are taking shots. Oh, yeah, you're smoking weed. All right, well, I'm just going to keep doing it. All right, it's week 3 and I haven't been fucking sober at all. All right, well, I'm ready to go home.
Did you go to the Burning Man last year?
No. Last year we were in South America.
When's the last time you went?
I went not last year, the year before.
Man, I feel like we tapped into just a whole different dimension of Mark in this interview. It's crazy. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like if anybody like kind of watches what I do and is a follower of me, like, I mean, they kind of know a little bit, Yeah, I don't think hippie is the right word for it. I feel like hippies are just fucking, like, they don't even know what a fucking hippie is anymore. People want to be a hippie.
Right.
I don't want to be a hippie. Like, that's not what I am. But
because I think hippie only belongs in a certain time frame. They're trying to call it a hippie because that's the perfect example, I suppose, so to speak. I don't know, but I get what you're trying to say. It's like we're all in the same group, but we're not hippies, man. Stop calling us that.
No, we're not. I'm a firm, I've had this since like the beginning of the Suicide Sounds days. It's like, I was always super grateful that there was anybody that wanted to come to a show. So if anybody was there and wanted to hang out with me, I was, at least going to entertain hanging out with them until I realized maybe they weren't someone I wanted to hang out with. But like, that's like kind of, if you've met me over the years on tour, like usually people are like, yeah, man, you like told me this story and you said this and we talked about this. And it's like, yeah, man, I just want fucking people to have a good time. I want to like, I'm not too good for anybody. And if you're coming to my show, like I was going to people's shows when I was a kid too. And I would have loved if they would have just given me any moment of their time, So I recognize that kind of shit. It's just like, it's a giving world, like as much as I can give, that doesn't really take from me. Like that's how I live.
I'm going to follow that up because you and me actually bumped fists back in 2008 at the first ever Mayhem Fest. When I
That's
first
what's
saw you
up.
guys with Mitch, and you guys were the best band that day. I'm just going to say it right now, and just to see how far you guys have gotten, it's just great to see that from my eyes.
Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, that was major tour for us and for me, and I was 19 on that tour, dude. I was a young buck. I was just figuring shit out. That was like the ultimate fucking. We're on tour with Slipknot and Disturbed and like, you know. And
I think 36 Crazy Fist was the band before you, and then you guys came. You guys played second. I was like, why aren't you guys headlining?
It was a rotating thing, so we were never always the same time. But yeah, I mean that was also, excuse me, that was also Five Finger Death Punch's first like real national tour.
Wow, yeah, you're right. So many other bands were on there too.
Yeah, and that's like when we first met them, and I always think about it. I'm like, the trajectory that happened between like where Five Finger Death Punch went and like of course we fucking had great success. I just think about it's like, wow, like look at how big that band fucking got. Holy shit.
Man,
they are big.
Well, now we're talking about a timeline. You started with Suicide Silence, and we're gonna talk about a timeline. 2005 is when you got there. You guys had that early success, 3 albums with Century Media, I believe. A lot of success early, and and then you got the new singer. You guys were on a hiatus, and then with Nuclear Blast, it seems like you guys have just almost like picked up just where you left off. And then I know that you've had some personal tragedy as well. You left the band sometime, I believe, in 2009, took time off, and you've dealt with your own share of tragedies. Now,
Sure.
from where you were to where you are now, have your aspirations as a person or band have they changed or evolved since when you first started playing? Do you see things differently now?
Nah, actually, like I think about that pretty often because I knew at a real young age that I wanted to be in a band and I wanted to be some sort of musician. Like I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
I didn't even sing. I didn't play an instrument. I was like 8 years old or something, and I just was listening to like the oddest grouping of music, like Green Day, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and Guns N' Roses and shit. And I'm just like, whatever these guys are doing, I want to do that. Like that's so cool. And at a really young age, I'm just like, if I can afford a fucking roof and food and pay my bills, like whatever I'm doing in music, as long as I can do that, like I'm happy with whatever I'm doing. And that might sound like some horse shit ass shit, but that's like straight up like how I felt. Just like I also, my dad was a musician and he was always in bands and he was always playing shows and stuff. So like I saw how hard it was. He used to run a TV repair service. He used to fix VCRs and TVs. And he also used to like play shows on the weekends. So I saw him having a job and playing shows firsthand, seeing how hard it is to be a professional musician. And so, yeah, I just kind of was modest with it. It's like, as long as I can, if I could pay my bills with music, I'm stoked. And, gratefully so much, like that's pretty much what I've been able to do, my whole life. Suicide Silence, since I was 17, joined in 2005. Real quickly, within the first 2, we didn't make shit for the first like 2 years I was in the band, but it was because we were putting so much money into the band.
Yeah.
We weren't really taking money from it. We were so young that it was just like, keep putting it into it, buy a van, buy a trailer, get new gear, all that stuff, everything. And we didn't sign that first deal for 2 years. So then we signed a deal, and then we pretty much started to be able to like make some money. But yeah, like my goals and what I'm satisfied with and where the way I look at it is like, as long as I can kind of stay true to myself artistically and, still have a good time with it, and I'm able to, not be stacked in debt, then I'm good.
Man, it just makes it seems like this pandemic is just another chapter for you. I mean, bring it on, right?
Bring it the fuck. I don't give a shit, dude. I don't give a fuck. And I've been saying that shit since I was young too. It's just like, I literally like, I give a shit so little that like I give a fuck too hard. And that doesn't even make any sense, dude.
No, that makes the perfect sense. You gotta have that attitude. What I believe it's just you don't know what to make of the world these days anymore. Like there's so much shit going on. There's so much information being thrown at you left and right. Like, what do you even believe anymore? Like I turn off. I don't even watch the fucking news anymore because of all just the misinformation that's just scattered throughout the entire, whatever you want to call it, universe.
Yeah. No, Yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't even know how to like touch on that shit because it's like I think beliefs. It's like as soon as you start believing in something, then it's just like, oh, you're a believer. Like, oh, you believe that? Oh, you fucking believe that, dude? You know, like, fuck that shit. Like, I don't know shit. I know nothing, and that's what I'm happy about. Like, I'll leave it at knowing nothing, because as soon as you got something that you think you know, then it's like, oh, well, now that person thinks he knows that. Well, that guy's wrong. And like, fuck that shit. Like, I'm not about to be like drawing lines in the sand. Like, it's. I'm not going to argue with anybody. You think you're right, then you're right, dude. Like, I don't give a shit.
Just grab your guitar and have that bone nut, and you're good to go.
Exactly. Bring it right around. Bring it right around. Grab my fucking human middle finger and fucking fliggity, flaggity, flang. You can't see it.
I know. That should just be like that should be like, if you get like just to do that in front of the camera, just take like a still.
Yeah.
I'll have Corey like get a still. That'll be like the main image for this.
The thumbnail.
Podcast. Yeah. Hold on, Corey. Can you get this?
Where is it?
Sorry,
You could just do it in the camera, just whenever
if it's in my face.
What am I doing?
Can you take a screenshot of this? Just Mark doing this.
There you go.
Perfect. Mark, do you have any other interests that feed your creativity within the band? Because you talked about live streaming and everything. Anything that doesn't involve music?
I mean, right now, it's all music right now. But I mean, I took a break from the band for a little bit while my dad was sick, and that's, I've been trickling that out a little bit. Like when I took a break from the band, it was all because my dad was dying and I wanted to be home with him. And it was the first time I had to make a decision on like the band or my life. And I chose my life for a little bit. And so I stayed home with my dad. And during that time, I took a permaculture course. You ever heard of permaculture?
No,
Oh,
I haven't.
Educate us, please.
Permanent agriculture. Bill Molson, he's an Australian guy. Basically, it's a series of protocols in life that remove the amount of energy required for some sort of process to happen. So, in bottom line, it's a lot of recycling. I mean, I'll remove the word hippie from it, but it's kind of like it's as much it's growing your own food organically and using that matter to turn it into more soil so you can keep growing and always be sustainable. Or like homesteading, like being completely self-sustainable. I'm super into that. I think by the time I'm like 40, I'll probably be a farmer and like be living somewhere in the middle of fucking who knows where, probably like
just maybe where you are right now.
You
are in the middle of nowhere.
I live in the desert right now. I got to get out of here. The fucking soil is terrible. It's all copper filled and clay, and I got to buy soil to fucking grow any food where I'm at.
What's that dude's name?
His name is Bill Mollison.
How did you discover this?
Well, I used to grow weed, so there you go. I tried to find the most renewable way to grow the flower, and I discovered permaculture, and it was just this wormhole. And I found out that it was this big movement that I think it started in the early '70s. Bill Mollison, and basically, I mean, it's a massive thing. I mean, it's people have permaculture farms, and it's kind of like you set up the situation so that you kind of are creating your own little biosphere. So you create things. So it's like, oh, well, I'm going to put, what would I do? I'll put some like blueberries down, and then I'll put, what would be a good like nitrogen. You basically put everything in place so that you're creating it so that it doesn't have to be tended to. You're creating like a little environment so that it will just feed itself.
Yeah,
and
sustain itself.
It takes a long time to set something up like that. Like and there's not one way to do it. It really like depends on, what where you are. Everything is a factor of it. Climate, location. But I mean, I'm super into that shit. Like I'm into fucking natural progression of environments and how to grow your own food and not rely on the fucking man, dude.
Okay, hear me out. I know you say social media isn't your thing, but man, we're talking further down the road. Live streaming with Mark, come join my permaculture. I will show you how to do the fucking thing right now. Just
Oh my
saying.
God.
Just saying. Just imagine the amount of fans who would tune into that and just.
I would love it, dude. I thought about it too. I thought about doing something like that. That's what led me to taking a course in it. Was that like I wanted to start a farm, and I wanted to start, or like, you know, just start somewhere where it's like, yeah, you know, I want to buy like 10 acres and like build some small little compounds on it and just invite people to come and live there and like start my own currency. I mean, basically I want to start a cult. And
Yeah.
All right, we're in. I mean, you already have 2 endorsers who are on board with that, so why not? We're in. Let's go. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, no, I'm totally into it. It's better than like I see people do RV living and like jumping in RV or like a van and like going and doing that stuff, and that's cool. But it's like grow your own food. Like that's what it's all about.
Have you ever heard of a dude named Charles Dowding?
No. Who's that?
Yeah, he created a certain type of gardening that's like, I don't know. Supposedly it's like really good. I don't know, but he's all into composting and everything, and you got to check him out. You should check him out. It's called the no dig method, no dig gardening, right?
No dig, yeah. Is that
no
like no till, like no till soil?
Yeah,
yeah. All right.
Like he invented that. Like
no shit.
Yeah,
all right. Okay.
He's an old dude, but I was just looking up that dude because we started getting into gardening ourselves, so. And I do irrigation as a profession. Like I run irrigation. So I'm like, I'm all about it. I'm going to run an irrigation zone specifically for the garden. So that's what I've been doing.
We have everything we need right here.
We do. Yeah.
Let's really start shit up.
Oh man.
We have all our resources.
I'm super down. I mean, I still think, let's just move to Ecuador, dude. We'll move right next to the cloud forest. I know of a really cheap village. It's called No. You can buy like hectares. You can buy like 5 hectares for like 20 grand, dude. Fucking, we'll get down there. We'll build a house.
Oh my gosh, man. I'm already like lining that shit up right now. Let's go.
I'm so in the hole on that shit. Like there's a lot of, actually, when you ask like what I'm into, that's not just music. There's weird shit. Just
that's not, hey, you're into what you're into, man. That's what makes, all of us unique. It's interesting to see like what drives a person outside from what they possess. That's, that makes up majority of who they are. I think it's great that you're into that. And I think it's just a great thing to be associated with, to gain more knowledge about, because we're talking about further down the road, like decades, considering where we are as a world. I mean, look at this illness going around. Imagine if permaculture should just take over instead, like how healthy things.
You never know, man. It could all be bullshit. We could be living on a flat earth, dude. You never know.
Dude, anything goes.
Oh my God. Flat earth. I think flat earth.
Oh my gosh.
It's a psyop. It's gotta be to fucking just throw a all conspiracy theorists are bullshit now because people think that the world is flat. Like, what the fuck is going on in 2020, dude?
We had one of our guests. He was actually a big name in Dallas. Back in the early 2000s, Mr. Pookie, the rapper.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Mr.
Mr.
Pookie.
You know that a Pookie is what you smoke meth out of.
Yeah, I'm sure that's probably what it is. I mean, Mr. Pookie and Mr. Lucci, they were huge. I mean, they had tons of radio success back in. But anyways, he's not really doing music anymore. But he was a guest on our Hot Wings show, and we asked him. We said, "What's one thing that would surprise the fans about you that they don't know?" And he said, "I don't know. I guess I believe the world's flat." And it kind of just it threw me for a loop. And I looked at him and I couldn't say anything else but why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
So, but anyways, that's
just keep eating the wings, man.
Yeah.
Shaq thinks the world is flat.
Oh,
fucking B.O.B.
Yeah, B.O.B. That's right.
For sure, he's a big one. I think I love that flat Earth exists. It's just so funny. And then when it really comes down to that, it's some sort of biblical shit. because like certain Bible pastors say like the four corners
The
of
four
the earth.
corners,
Like,
right?
how do you have corners on the earth? How do you have corners on a globe? How does that even work? Just like, get the fuck out of here, dude. And then these people probably think that fucking Trump is like a fucking the hero and he's taking down the deep state. That's the other one,
Man,
dude.
I see so many freaking people saying like, oh God, I mean, yeah, God sent us Trump and yeah, and you know, what did he say? It's when it says the angels trumpets, they're really saying Trump Pence, Trump Pence. I'm like, what the heck? These
Oh, I
people are
love that.
crazy.
That's good shit, dude. No, dude, they're right, dude. They're right. Let them.
Everyone's right, man. That's the catch. Everyone's
the catch,
right.
dude.
You just got to go along with it.
Exactly. That's the world I live in. Everybody's right, dude.
So yeah, that was the question. What would you be doing right now if you wanted? Anyway, so this is we're nearing the last part of the interview. Man, this could go on for hours. Seriously, all talking about all these conspiracy theories. Man, we could just have one segment on just conspiracy theories. But I'm sure Joe Rogan's got that covered. So,
nah, Joe Rogan's a sellout. He doesn't talk about him enough anymore. He's too afraid to sound like if it's not like super factual, Joe Rogan doesn't talk about it. I was just listening to him and Patton Oswalt, and I felt like Patton Oswalt was even just like, what the fuck, man? Like can't we have some more fun than this? Like,
he's like, why didn't I just come on your earlier shows, man? Why'd you invite me now?
I know.
All right, Corey. So this is the last part. Do you have it in front of you? The other.
I do, yeah.
So, Mark, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put you on the hot seat here to finish things off. All right.
Oh yeah. All right.
All right. Like I said, you weren't on the hot seat already.
I haven't said enough already, dude.
So we actually do this with all of our artists. It's actually really fun because some of them get them, some of them don't.
It's a little game.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're gonna read a lyric. We're gonna see how well you know your own songs.
Oh, okay.
Corey, you pick one, and I'll go off of that.
Well, how am I going to pick one? I'm going to say it out loud, and he'll know.
So wait, I have to say
here, I'll
what
count.
song
1,
it's
2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go the third one down.
Okay. You want to read it? Or you want to read it?
Oh, I can read it.
Yeah.
I'm going to read it like a dramatic reading.
Yes.
All right.
You good?
What does that say? Waning?
Yeah.
All right, let me do this.
Wanting.
Let me do this.
Yeah.
Okay. Waning sounds in forests. I've grown to appreciate my disease. This is my torture. In the end, we all have to sleep. It's a great lyric.
That's off of the self-titled record.
Yep.
Correct.
So you got that.
Is that Conformity?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, see, man? Yeah, you got this, bro.
Nice. Okay.
All right, Corey, let's pick an easy one for you.
An easy. Oh. As far as words go, let me see. Okay, let's go. Let's bring it way back. Okay.
So all right. So it's an old song.
Yep. Life living through an hourglass. The sand is falling, and there's not much left. It's like living in a photograph. Witness the rubble from the past.
Well, it's in a photograph because you said isn't it? It's got to be in a photograph.
No.
It's not? Oh, well,
No.
Okay, wait.
I like how you're just staring up in a distance, like it's great with Butters in the background.
I know. Well, it's because without I'm not sure. I know what it is. You're going to say, and I'm going to be like, oh, of course. But
Okay, I'll give you a clue, though. Frank Mullen.
Oh, Smashed. Yeah.
Smashed.
Yeah. Great song.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Yep. Hourglass. Yep. All right.
Okay, let me see. Okay, this is going to throw you for a loop. I don't know if this is going to confuse you or not because – okay, I'm just going to read it. Fuck it. This place inside my mind, a place I like to hide. You don't know the chances, but if I should die.
He knows it.
It's a Korn song.
Played by.
It's Blind. Yeah, it's Blind.
When did you all? Yeah, when did y'all cover that song? What year was that?
We've covered it officially in 2015, I think, at a benefit show live. So it's on the Live and Mental record.
Okay. I thought it was much earlier than that.
Well, that's what everybody thinks. Just we never did any Korn stuff because it was like everybody kind of knew we liked Korn. It was kind of taboo though for a while. Like Korn was not cool to like when we first started coming out. Like Korn started being cool to like again somewhere in like the 2010 area.
I'd say early. I thought it was earlier than that.
Yeah.
I would say mid 2000s because
for us in the death metal shit, when we're playing death metal, deathcore stuff, and us admitting we like Korn, no way, we got ripped for fucking liking Korn.
Yeah, now it's like, new metal's like the thing again, and oh my god, Korn is the best. I'm like, where you guys been when they released freaking Fallout, Follow the Leader and Issues, all that.
They've always been sick, dude. They've always been sick.
All right, moving on. Yeah. The escape from her shattered existence lies above out of her reach, but still sinking further and further into her own self. Yeah, it's my favorite one off of that record. I think you guys played this live at Mayhem, and I've never heard it since. But this is way back. All right.
Yeah, I think. The last time we played it was. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, it was Mayhem, wasn't it?
No, it was with Mike Terry at the Mitch Memorial Show.
Oh my gosh.
We haven't played it with Eddie.
Oh wow,
interesting. That's an interesting fact. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, now you want the word back, Corey? Let's go back to 2005.
Corey can't read.
I can't read. Okay. All right, here we go. Open your fucking eyes. We'll be the ones that set civilization back. Open your eye. Yep, that's it.
Wow, that's good. Nice. That was off the EP.
It's my favorite song on the EP.
I am sent from hell above. I'm worth more dead. Hello again, though. We've never met.
Overlord.
Yeah.
Nice.
The grounds will shake and your children will tremble. Soon enough, the machine will fall and we will all crumble. The human machine will finally bleed.
Oh, disengage.
Yeah, I said bleed. I was like, I'm giving that one away. What the hell am I doing? Okay. Okay, this is my favorite one off of, I'm not going to say it. Revolted by a sickened man, disgusted by the empty glare. I know he taunts. Nice. Such a great song. Have you guys played that live yet?
No, we're gonna play it at the Slay at Home Festival for Metal Injection in a couple. It's like the live stream festival thing that Metal Injection is doing. We just recorded it.
Oh, nice. When is that airing?
Next
weekend. Okay, I don't know if you could say that. Okay.
No, I think it's already released when it is. Yeah.
Okay, we got two more. Look around, enjoy this world we call our tragedy, forsaken life. Oh wow, yeah. All right. Corey,
I help write lyrics, dude. I've never written in the things that I write them, but like I think I know these fuckers.
Yeah, I mean, it's surprising. You're writing really good.
The only one that kind of stumped you was Smashed, but the rest is like, man, it's already there. I don't know if we've had a guest, get them that quick.
I think. Well, actually, I mean, he took him a while. Corey from Trivium got every song. And all these albums.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh.
Corey's good. Corey's good.
Okay. You want this last one, Corey? You mean to get it?
Where's
this Corey. Okay. It's at the bottom. You'll see it.
Okay. Yeah. Just sit back and relax.
No Pity for a Coward.
Yeah. It's your favorite song. I was like, I have to put that in there. I could have started off with this one, but it would have been too easy. But you pass. Maybe we'll put like
I'm glad I got those. I'm
glad you know your own songs, man.
Dude, I mean, I guarantee there's a lot of death metal and deathcore people out there that it's just like it's more about the sounds. It's not the lyrics,
as I'm growing older with all this music that I'm listening to, I'm just becoming less and less picky because you see these elitists, whatever they call themselves out there, and they say, oh, no, you can't listen to this. This isn't technical enough, or this isn't supposed to be, it's not lyrically tangible, or whatever they want to do, whatever they want to talk about. And these dudes are like in their teens and trying to tell you what shit to like. And I don't know. It's just, I'm seeing more and more nowadays. You just got to listen to what you want to listen to.
The first time we brought out that segment, reading the lyrics to the artist was You know who Head PE is?
Yeah.
So I was interviewing Trauma, the drummer, and I read off some lyrics from like way before he was in the band, and then I read all the way up into their like one of their latest albums, and one of their most popular songs. He didn't get one. He didn't get one song.
Damn. What's that Head PE song that was so big for a second? It's something about myself. What is it? About myself. Something about.
I'm drawing a blank now.
We raise.
Well, we all have.
There's raise hell. I don't know.
Good thing we're not in the band and have to try to remember the lyrics.
Right. I know raise hell, and then like American Beauty. Those were.
Dude, people don't know the lyrics to their own songs. That's for sure. Especially, I mean, you don't have to. You just don't. Unless you're in like fucking Nickelback, you know.
Right on.
So Mark, so any last things you just want to promote? Any last shout outs before we end things off here?
Well, yeah, we're going to be announcing a lot of sick ass details for the virtual world tour that we're doing here pretty soon. Probably got dates that we're going to announce like really soon and exactly what that all is. And I guarantee that what we're going to do is some next level fucking badass shit. Not to discredit everybody's streaming shows that they're doing, but we're not going to be playing from our fucking bedrooms, and it's going to be really fucking cool. And
right on.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about that. And then look me up. I started a Patreon. I'm giving guitar lessons. If you think you want a guitar lesson from me, or you just want to hang out or whatever, DM me on my Instagram. You know, I'm doing that stuff.
Everyone who's listening, don't forget his Cameo. He can do any kind of shout out.
And my Cameo. And I will say that I'm pretty sure I'm waiting for Jess to get back to me. I think that the charity is over. So if you book me, it isn't for charity anymore. I'm pretty sure, just to put that out there.
Right on.
All right.
He hasn't turned a Cameo down yet. So let's see if.
I know. Try to get me to turn it down. Exactly.
Now I got to keep that going, bro. And everyone is listening, don't forget Become the Hunter from Suicide Silence. Came out February. It's out now on Nuclear Blast Records. Pick it up, support these guys. They're going to be on the, you're going to see them again, It's not going to be the regular old, live streaming from home. You heard it from here first, so just stay tuned.
Out there, dude. We'll be out there.
And the podcast can be heard on Spotify, Stitcher, and Apple Podcasts. Mark Heylmun from Suicide Silence, thank you so much, bro. Next time you guys come to Dallas, let's do the Wings interview. That'd be great.
After the show.
Yeah.
After the show. Yeah, after the show.
We will
just take shots of fucking hot sauce. Let's just
I'm down. I'm down.
Awesome. I mean, I'll probably join you guys after that because I can't even take hot sauce as much as I used to. Man, getting old sucks, dude. That's the thing. You just can't.
I don't admit it, but I can't either.
There you go.
I'm not getting old, dude.
This part won't air.
Come on, man.
Right on.
Cool, guys. Yeah,
awesome,
thanks.
bro.
All right, thank you.
It was great, man.
That was fun. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, you take care, Mark, all right?
Yeah, you guys too. Later.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to Interview Under Fire podcast. If you guys liked what you heard, please subscribe and share our channel. And please leave a 5-star review, as that helps us tremendously. And also, if you guys have any questions or comments, you can find us at Interview Under Fire at Facebook or at Instagram. Or you can write us directly at schwag@interviewunderfire.com. That's SCHWAG at interviewunderfire.com. Or Rezablade. That's REZABLADE at interviewunderfire.